Hello guys, I hope it's running. I believe I'm live. It's 8:30 UK time, and welcome to a new I Think series. This time it's about how to get rid of fear. We had the vote in the comment section below of the previous video, so thank you very much for watching that one, guys. Thank you very much for liking it and making the comments. And we had 2 votes on fear and 1 vote on weight loss, so I decided to talk about fear today. And the thing I would like to cover is really the creation of fear and how is it when you overcome the fear, because there was a few surprising things for me that I wasn't aware of when thinking about the fear. So I can see there's 3 viewers, so hello. Thank you very much for joining. When it comes to the creation of fear, typically something happens in our lives. It could be something that is an actual experience, something happens to you, like you're in a plane and there's turbulences and you get afraid, or you are watching something on TV and that creates an emotional spike and then you're afraid of something. But the important thing I wanted to emphasize at this stage is that all of the fears, as far as I'm aware, have actually a physical experience in the real world behind it. So it's not like you're afraid for no reason. Something actually happened to you, whether you remember it or not, that has caused a significant spike in your emotional experiences. And with that experience, your brain has, how shall I put it? I'm not sure if you are aware how the brain is designed, and I'm not even knowledgeable enough on it to give you the exact details. I just try to give you as best an analogy as possible. But within the brains, there are so-called neurons that when we think about certain things and when we experience certain things, they light up. So when you look at a brain from a scan, it looks like some clouds and some areas that are lighting and others aren't. And when you have an intense emotional experience, you had that stimulus and something was lighting up in your brain. And the intensity started the neurons to grow together. And they get closer and closer, and then they become a solid connection. And with fears, what happens is we experience something horrible. Our brain remembers it by creating a pathway, by creating a neurological pathway in our brain. And then it uses fear to prevent us from experiencing it again. So when you think about fear, it's quite a useful thing to have, because the intention is to keep you safe, and the way to achieve it is to use fear so that you don't expose yourself into the possibility of re-experiencing that intense emotion. So this part on the creation, I just wanted to let people know that it's normal to have a fear. Something happened to you that caused it, and that's fine. And it's also a useful thing to have, because the main intention of it is to protect you from another emotional challenging experience. The problem where fear comes in is if we then suddenly think that fear is the only way to protect us, right? My example was, I had the privilege to work with a boy who was bitten by a dog. And I hope he's okay with me sharing the story. Obviously, I'm not making any names, but I'm really grateful that he's allowed me to work with him, and obviously to his mother and his father. And that experience was quite traumatic for him, because he, bitten by a dog is not an easy thing. So the challenge was then not to get rid of the fear, but to allow them to have the same safety in a different way. And what really happens in our brain is we have the stimulus that activates an area wherever there is in our head. And that stimulus is conditioned to go to panic, to go to fear, because this is how we experienced it in the first instance. But what you can do is take the same starting point and allow a new pathway to grow, which means physically allow the brain to start rewiring a new connection, so that the same stimulus is not going to the fear anymore, is not going to panic, but it actually goes to something else, something totally different. And the one weird thing that I've experienced when it comes to the idea of people having a phobia, people having a fear, or then people overcoming the phobia, overcoming the fear. And my first experience of that was actually watching a seminar, and some people know my background with regards to this type of training, so they will also probably remember that cat story. It wasn't a seminar, a person was afraid of cats. What can I say? It's okay to be afraid of cats, I guess. And the thing that amazed me was, during the seminar, he got rid of the fear of cats. Fair enough. But what they actually did, and what they put on the recording, 2 days later, they actually went to a cat shop where you can go in, look at the cats, and buy some. And the thing that happened was, that person in the cat shop, he didn't look to me like someone who is comfortable. He didn't look to me like someone who is, relaxed and at ease around the idea of cats. But what I didn't realize then was that even him being around cats like that was a massive achievement. So when I started working with other people, looking at, fear of flying, fear of dogs, etc., I've realized that once people overcome the fear, it's not like they can't go back. Because if you really think about it, the pathway that has been created in the brain still exists. So when you sit in the plane, it's not like you can't go back to the fear, but suddenly you have a choice to do something different as well. Whereas before, you only had the fear response. Now you can go either to the fear, or you can go to somewhere else, feeling comfortable, feeling relaxed, feeling at ease, whatever you need to have for you, or whatever you want to have, if you will. And so for me, the important thing about fear is to realize, first, the creation is not random. Something happened to you that caused it. And second is, once you overcome the phobia, it suddenly becomes that strange experience where you suddenly have a choice to be afraid if you want to, but also not to be afraid if you don't want to. And for me, doing this work and trying to help other people, I wish there would be a way to just say, look, focus on this area of your brain, make the neurons light up, and then just start rewiring slightly to the right. There we go, just go into that direction and make sure to create a pathway like this, and then you're safe, then you're fine. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out a way how to do it like that yet. It seems like we don't have that control over how our brain is operating. But what I can do is to ask you to do certain things. And when you do them things, that same mechanism is operating, that pathway is created as a side effect. So you're focusing on one thing and you're doing a certain task, and that gives me the feedback to say, okay, the pathway is now being created. And once you have a pathway, then you will feel that you suddenly have an element of choice, whereas before there was no element of choice, if you will. So this is really what I wanted to talk about the idea of fear in this live stream. And now I would like to give you an offer for the next one. So in the next one, I would like to continue talking about fear, because I still haven't told you how I do it. I still haven't explained to you how I go about it, how I normally address it with other people, and I'm very happy in sharing it. So please let me know if you're still interested in finding out one way of getting rid of fear. If you want me to share that with you guys, just please write fear or whatever you want to write in the comment box to let me know that this is something you're interested in. Last time I also offered the option for weight loss, and as there was one person being interested, I also want to put it out there. So there is a possibility for me to talk about fear part 2, which I would be revealing how I would normally go about dealing with fear. The other option is to look at weight loss, And the third option, I removed the stop smoking because it seemed like it didn't create a lot of interest. So I've put something else instead. As a possibility, I could talk about different systems to start managing your money in a way that keeps you safe, keeps your account balance look good, and you can enjoy life. So please let me know in the chat which one you would like to have. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, it would be great to let me know, to give me some feedback which part of the video you liked, and share as much as you can. I'd really appreciate that. And then based on the people letting me know what they would like to see in the next live stream, we'll either look at fear part 2, or we look at the weight loss, or we look at the money side. And just to give you a heads up, in fear part 2, I would really like to have a volunteer who is actually afraid of something to do this with me live on a Facebook live stream. So if you know of people who have a phobia, please just tag them into the comments as well. And if there is anybody who is willing to volunteer to give me, to offer to the group their phobia, and to allow them to experience how it is to get rid of one, then I'd also greatly appreciate that. I would prefer if it's someone that I don't know, because for people who I do know, they might get some mixed emotional issues because they want me to succeed, they want it to be a success. Whereas the people that don't know, they just can give honest feedback and they're not invested in the whole process. But yeah, guys, so thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your time. And I just wanted to say thank you also for the people who liked the last video and who commented on the last one. Also, a big shout out to my wife, who's allowing me to do all of this and is helping out with the Facebook. Hello, I love you. And let me know, guys. Please vote. Fear part 2, weight loss, or the money thing. And I'll see you on the next live stream. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.